Good afternoon, students. Okay, so in the last class, we come certain things regarding the ancient Rome. Right, students, are you listening my voice?
సార్ వస్తుంది.
Yes. Okay, so in the last classes, we have a discussion over the ancient Rome, and as a part of ancient Roman Empire, we have a glance over the geographical location, then society and mythological history, and uh, other things we discussed in the last class is that about this administration basically. Okay, so political structure. Okay, so political structure we discussed in the last class. Uh, in the political structure, we divide this ancient Roman political structure into the three parts. One is the monarchical structure, and next one is the republic form of government, and next one is the Roman Empire. Okay, so within the monarchical form of government, a one civilized civilized race, better to be called as the Etruscan race, overall domination in the ancient Rome over other races. And apart from these other races, so the Latvian, the people who are settled in the Latvian, better to be called as the Latins. Okay, so Latins also another race which the initial race which entered in the territories of ancient Rome. Okay, so the domination of this Etruscan, the Latins were they were very peaceful people, and they never challenged this Etruscan's dominance in the initial stages, and gradually they are mixed up with this Etruscan, and they learned many things from the Etruscan, and gradually they dominate over the people of this Etruscan, and then they started the republican form of government in the ancient Rome. Okay, so as a part of monarchical government, and in the during the rule of this Etruscan people, they followed certain form of government structure, where the council appointment of the council is one, and two magistrate formed into one council, and again one Senate is there, and nearly 30 100 sorry 300 representatives from the patrician section also there, and again this the Senate, which is like a representatives, a group of representatives, all from the patrician group, and finally they started one a system called appointment of a dictator. Okay, so and the dictator, which is the appointment of dictator, only for the 6 months during the time of the emergencies. Okay, so this structure which followed during the time of the Etruscan's rule. Okay, where the all over the society of ancient Rome during the time of Etruscan, which divided into the two sections. One is the patricians, and the next one is the plebeians. And patrician is the ruling class, and all the rich people who are from the patrician group, and plebeians were the common people. And apart from the patrician and plebeian, there is another group, another section, another strata we better to call as the slaves. They were, which is, they were from every right. Okay, so no privilege was to these such slaves. Okay, so after this, after the rule of the Etruscan, and gradually these Latins came to the power, and during the time of the Latins, we better to say it as a republic form of government. Okay, so in the republic form of government, there are certain things we discussed in the last class, where the Senate and Council, the same thing which is during the time of monarchical form, which carried in the this during the time of republic form of government, and Republican Rome Republic. Okay, so within this, there are the representation from the all people, all sections of the people. Okay, so where all tribes were had the equal status, and everyone had the representation in the Senate also, and consuls also appointed from the common people like the plebeians and the other races also. Okay, so such in the republic form of government, all are equal. Equality before law, each and everyone equal before the law is the common agenda which followed during the Roman Republican form of the government. Okay, so after the Roman Republican form of government, there is which turned to the Roman Empire. Okay, so the Republican form of government turned into the Roman Empire, where you are well aware that we already had a certain glance over the Carthage attack. Okay, so the Carthage were the territory which is under the Egyptian civilization, under the leadership of the Hannibal, who attacked these colonies of this ancient Rome. Okay, so but there is certain gradually there is integrity which showed in the Roman Empire, and the people had the oneness, feeling of the oneness, and unity and diversity has followed gradually, and they strongly condemned, they strongly defended themselves from the attacks of the Hannibal. And Hannibal, who were spent his 13 years of his age yet the colonies of ancient Rome, and but these Rome people of the Rome were they strongly defend themselves, and after the 13 years, Hannibal left the colonies of the Rome, and this the appointment of dictatorship has started, and Fabius Maximus was the first dictator in the history of this Roman Empire, and then there is another strong dictators you'll see. One is the Julius Caesar, and another one is the Augustus. Okay, so the Octavian later, which turned into the Augustus. Okay, so such things we discussed in the last class. Up to the Julius Caesar, we had certain things in the last class. Okay, so today we will recap the points once again, and what we discussed about the Julius Caesar. Okay, so under the Julius Caesar, who appointed, along with the Julius Caesar, another two also appointed as the dictators, and which is better to be called as the first triumvirate. And next, Octavian, along with the other two dictators, which started another triumvirate. Okay, so better to be called as the second triumvirate in the history of ancient Rome. Okay, so I will give you those things, and before that, I have to share my screen, and then I will explain those. Okay. Right, so I have to share my screen. Students, please wait. Yeah, right. Okay. So Republic to the Rome, what we discussed in the last class. Students, are you getting my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right. Okay. So in the last class, we had a things over the how the republic turned into the Roman Empire. Okay. So where we had certain things we discussed in the last class about the monarchy and during the time of republic. And next, this the republic from the republic which turned to the Roman Empire. Okay. So ancient Rome had the two major periods of history. The first was Roman Republic, which lasted from 597 BC. And during this time, there was no single leader of the Rome, and the government was run by the elected officials. The second period was the Roman Empire, which was lasted from 27 BC to 476 AD. Okay, so which is better to be called as the Western Roman Empire. Okay, so during this time, the government was led by the empire, and Roman Republic, during the time of the Roman Republic, the top leaders of Roman government were the consuls, and there were two consuls at the time, and they only served for 1 year, and this kept any one man from the becoming too powerful. And after that, there is appointment of a dictator has taken place, and the fall, which is along with Julius Caesar and another two dictators like Marcus Lysias Crassus, and also another one is Crassus and Marcus. Okay, so these three, which called as the first temporate in the history of ancient Rome. Okay, so the fall of Roman Republic, which began in 1509 BC with alliance between three powerful Roman politicians, Julius Caesar, Pompey, and the Crassus. And this alliance became known as the First Temporate. And these three men essentially ruled Rome. However, when the Crassus died in the battle in 53 BC, Pompey turned on Caesar, and two became the enemies. Okay, so finally, the Julius Caesar killed Pompey and became the dictator, and where then the Caesar became the only one dictator who ruled all over the ancient Rome. Okay, so we'll see certain things. Already we discussed about the Julius Caesar in the last class, and we'll see another one or two points, and then we'll close about Julius Caesar, and then we'll move to Octavian. Okay, so while Julius Caesar was away from the Rome, leading his army, Pompey gathered political support against the Caesar. A civil war erupted when Caesar led his army across the Rubicon River and approached Rome. And eventually, Caesar defeated Pompey and became the most powerful man in the Rome. And Caesar's enemies and did not want him to end the Roman Republic and became the king. So they assassinated him in 444 BC. Okay, so before our assassination, he followed certain things we discussed in the last class also, and I will recap the point once again. Okay, so he inaugurated his rule with serious reforms. He improved agriculture, reduction in taxes, removal of corrupt and oppressive governors, and granting citizenship to the various colonies like Sicily and others, and Gaul people also, and distribution of public lands and public works, improving coinage system, and the introduction of this Julian calendar from the 44 BC onwards. Okay, so finally, there is a civil war broke out in 44 BC, and his enemy Brutus, which assassinated Julius Caesar. Okay, so this again, this incident which plunged Rome into another civil war. Okay, so within the Civil War, another great personality in the history of ancient Rome was the Octavian, a grand nephew of Julius Caesar, which came to the scene. Okay, so Octavian, a grand nephew of the Julius Caesar, and Mark Antony, which is joined to crush those who murdered Caesar, and they joined with the another man Lepidus, a great politician of the Rome, and to form second temporate. Okay, so with the combination of these three people, which called the as a second temporate in the history of Roman Empire. Okay, so finally they defeated Brutus in Battle of Philippi in 42 BC, and then the Roman Empire, which divided, and again this Brutus was killed by Octavian, and Octavian, which because sorry, killed by Octavian, and then Octavian and Mark Antony and also Lepidus, three formed into a second temporate. Okay, so after the Julius Caesar died, a second temporate formed between Mark Antony and Lepidus and Octavian. Okay, so the second temporate was officially recognized by the Roman government in 43 BC, and some historians consider this to be the end of the Roman Republic. And the second temporate ruled for the 10 years until 33 BC. However, it began to split up with Octavian removed Lepidus from the power in 36 BC. Okay, so and when the second temporate came to the end, a civil war began between the Octavian and Mark Antony. And while Mark Antony was with his army in the eastern portion of the empire, Octavian built a power base in the Rome. He soon launched an attack against Mark Antony, who had allied with the Cleopatra seven of the Egypt, and Octavian defeated Mark Antony and Cleopatra at the Battle of Actium in 31 BC. Okay, so the Roman Empire begins. Octavian was now the most powerful man in the Rome. In 27 BC, he had himself named Augustus and became the first emperor of the Rome. And this marked the beginning of the Roman Empire. The first period of the Roman Empire was one of the most prosperous times of the ancient Rome, and the empire expanded to cover it largest expanse, and Rome became very healthy. Okay, so this is about the second temporate, where this after the Mark Antony and Cleopatra, this whole the territories which are under the Mark Antony and Cleopatra, which directly which come to the control of come under the control of this Octavian, and then Octavian defeated Lepidus and ruled the whole Roman territories were come under the control of the Octavian, and Octavian, which became a Roman Empire as with the name of the Augustus. Okay, so Augustus' rule was somewhat very crucial in the history of ancient Rome because he done many reforms in the history of ancient Rome, and he followed the certain new reforms and new programs in the territories of ancient Rome. And he during his time, Rome became a wonderful city, and Rome was connected with all cities and trade centers in the Roman territories, and every colony of Rome was connected with the city of the Rome. Okay, so the people, according to the wish of the people, he ruled, and he followed certain social welfare measures in the history of Rome. Okay, so that's why his period in the history of Rome called as the Golden Age. Okay, so before going to about discussion about this Augustus age, I have to share once again my screen, and then I will give you things about Augustus. Okay, students, are you getting my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right. Okay, right. So Augustus, he was another who ruled this Roman Empire as according to the wish of the people and social in the social welfare of these people at that time. Okay, so the Augustus age is better to be called as the golden age in the history of Rome, and it was known for peace and prosperity. He introduced. Okay, so I am not going with his early career or childhood other things. Just I will going directly what the reforms he followed. Okay, so as a ruler of the Rome, what are the things he followed? Okay, so as a he followed certain things like these welfare measures he followed. Okay, so he introduced several administrative and economic reforms. Honest and sincere officials were appointed in the provinces, and the governors took census of the population in their respective provinces and also maintained records regarding their wealth of the citizens and carried out in order to bring about fair distribution of the taxes also. And the emperor kept poor people happy by supplying food grains at free of cost, and they worshipped him as a god. And he undertook public work scheme to bring about the employment opportunities also, and he provided employment opportunities to the each and every section of the people at that time. And he followed a thing that everyone equal before the law. And Augustus spent money on public works like construction of public buildings, roads, bridges, amphitheaters, and fountains like that. And the most among them was the Colosseum, a large amphitheater which accommodate nearly 50,000 people. Were the great contribution of this Augustus during the Roman Empire. And the baths of Caracalla and construction of highways from the provincial cities to the capital, which served dual purpose, facilitating trade and commerce on one hand, and exercising political control on the other hand. And there is no doubt in saying all routes leads to the Rome. And it is there is no surprise that Augustus could say with the pride that he found Rome a city of bricks and turned it into a city of marble. And the Roman Empire under Augustus maintained a diplomatic and a commercial contacts with a number of countries, including China and Indian territories and Egypt, Egyptian territories at that time. Okay, so and he encouraged art and literature also. Livy, Roman historian, which wrote a great work, the Annals. Okay, so which is better to be called as history of Rome, were also in the court of this Augustus. And Virgil, who also a great literate, who wrote a poem Aeneid, also another important person who are in the court of Augustus. And other famous writers who enriched the language in the important contribution were the Ovid, Horace, Pliny, Juvenal, Tacitus. All these are had a association with Augustus. Okay, so Augustus takes the credit for establishing Pax Romana. Okay, so Roman peace, which lasted for nearly 5 centuries. Okay, so as a good ruler, Augustus, who became the emperor, Rome had experienced many years of civil war. He brought peace to the land and began to rebuild much of the city and the empire. He built many roads and buildings, what we discussed, and government buildings also. He also strengthened the army and conquered much of the land around the Mediterranean Sea. Under the Augustus rule, Rome once again experienced peace and prosperity. Okay, so the next 200 years were years of the peace for the Roman Empire, and this period Pax Romana, which means peace of the Rome. And Augustus is often given credit for establishing the infrastructure that led to such a long period of the peace. Okay, so finally he was died in 14 AD, and his stepson Tiberius became the second emperor of the Rome. Okay, so as a ruler of this ancient Rome, he followed many reforms where the reforms already which carried by Julius Caesar, which was again carried by this Augustus also. Okay, so after the Augustus, there are many important people which came to the power. Among them, like this Constantine the Great was another important ruler who came to the power. Okay, so between Augustus, there are one or two important rulers we'll see in between. One is the Tiberius, who proclaimed himself as a Roman Empire after the death of Augustus, and the emperors who ruled Roman Empire was alternatively by good and bad rulers like the Caligula and Nero also you see, and in the long list of good emperors like Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius also another important ruler uh, who ruled ancient Roman Empire. Okay, so Aurelius was a great philosopher who wrote to meditations also. Meditation also a great work from the Marcus Aurelius, and Marcus Aurelius was a ruler come a writer. Okay, so and the general decline of the Rome, which started after the death of this Marcus Aurelius, and after Marcus Aurelius, Constantine came to the power. Constantine divided the empire into the two parts: East Empire with the capital of the Byzantine, and the West with the Rome. Okay, so he brought about unity between the two parts and shifted capital from Rome to the Constantinople. Okay, so during the time of the Constantine, this Constantinople became a great city. Okay, so and apart from the other things, what are the great things followed by the Constantine? And when his father became he named Constantine as the emperor, and of the western portion of the Roman Empire. Constantine then ruled over many parts, other parts of the Rome also, and he began to strengthen and build up much of the area. He built roadways and cities. He removed his rule to the city of Tyre in the Gaul and built up the city of defenses and public buildings. And Constantine began to conquer neighboring kings with his large army. He expanded his portion of the Roman Empire, and the people began to see him as a good leader. He also stopped the prosecution of the Christianity or Christians in his territories also. Okay, so as a when the Constantine was a dream, as a Constantine approached Rome in 312, he had reason to worry. His army was about half of the size of others enemy's army, and the one night before the Constantine faced Magus Magnentius in the battle. He fought a dream, and in the dream he was told that he could win the battle if he fought under the sign of the Christian cross. And the next day he had his own soldiers paint crosses on their shields, and they dominated the battle, defeating Magnentius and taking control of the Rome. Okay, so later he turned into a Christian, and he ruled very much a ruler who had the support from the people of Rome at the time. Okay, so 7 years later, which is he was Constantine, which was died, and during the Constantine left his mark in the city of Rome by building many new structures. He built a giant basilica in the Forum. He rebuilt the Circus Maximus to hold even more people. And perhaps his most famous building in Rome is the Arch of Constantine. He had a giant arch built to commemorate his victory over the Magnentius. Okay. So in 330, Constantine established a new capital of Roman Empire, and he built one on the location of the ancient city of Byzantine. And the city was named Constantinople after Emperor Constantine. And Constantinople would later become a capital of Eastern Roman Empire, also called as the Byzantine Empire. Okay, so Constantine ruled the Roman Empire until his death 337. He was buried in the Church of the Holy Apostles in the Constantinople. Okay, so after the Constantine death, this whole Roman Empire, which is turned into the two parts, Western and Eastern Roman, and Eastern Roman was under the control of the Constantinople, and West Rome under the control of the Rome city. Okay, so this finally, when you see after the Constantine's rule, this gradually the Rome decline of Rome has started, the fall of Rome has started, and constant invasions of the barbaric raids like Germanic tribes and other Huns attacks. This Rome was gradually declined, and a succession of weak and incompetent emperors also main cause for the decline of this Roman Empire, and lack of the leadership and discipline in the army also another important reason for the decline of the Roman Empire. Okay, so and not only this, there are other important things which is also reason for the decline of Roman Empire. One is during at the end of his rule, Roman rule, which is its power, Roman power went to the peak. Okay, so Rome reached its peak power in second century around the year 117 AD under the rule of great Roman Empire, Trajan later also. Okay, so then this gradually declined. The fall of Rome didn't happen in one day. It happened over a long period of time. There are number of reasons why the empire began to fail. Here and the first one is the politicians and rulers of Rome became more and more corrupted, and infighting and civil wars within the Roman Empire has taken place. Also another cause, and attacks from the barbarian tribes outside of the empire, such as Visigoths, Huns, Franks, and Vandals, who gradually attacked the Roman colonies. And the Roman warrior was the Roman army was no longer as a dominant force because the Roman army also gradually weakened, and the empire became so large it was difficult to govern. Okay, so because the large expansion of the Roman, which is it is somewhat unable to control such a large empire. Okay, so this constant during the time of the Constantine, the Roman Empire was divided into the two parts. So Roman, Eastern Roman Empire and Western Roman Empire. Eastern Roman Empire with the capital of the Constantinople, Western Roman Empire with the capital of the Rome. Okay, city Rome, right? So finally, in 470 AD, a Germanic barbarian by the name of Vodasar took control of the Rome. He became the king of the Italy and forced the last empire of the Rome, Romulus Augustulus, to give up his crown. Many historians consider this to be the end of the Roman Empire. Okay, so then the Dark Ages has begun. With the fall of the Rome, many changes occurred throughout the Europe. Rome had provided a strong government, education, and culture. Now much of the Europe fell into barbarism, and the next 500 years would be known as the Dark Age in the Rome. Okay, so students. This is due to such barbarian attacks and weak rulers and weak army, military. Finally, Rome was declined. Okay, so this is end of my class, students. Do you have uh, any uh, doubts or queries regarding the Roman civilization, the polity of the Roman civilization? You are welcome to ask me now. Students, ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయా?
సార్ ఏం లేదు సార్.
ఏం లేవా?
సార్
Okay, thank you. I'm going to end my class now.
Thank you, sir.
ఓకే సార్.
Thank you.